Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's yoga class is all about taking the time to put your troubles aside, taking the time to decompress, to unwind. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify if you need to, rest if you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class coming into a 4-point kneeling frame. Make your way down onto the hands and the knees, checking that your hands are stacking underneath your shoulders with your knees underneath your hip points. We're going to find a little cat-cow flow, and then once we've found it, we're going to begin to play with the arms. Start in tabletop, looking for a long line through the neck and the spine. Take a nice inhale, curving through the spine, stretching into the lower belly as you take the chin and the bum bones to the ceiling. Then exhale to round out, changing the shape, hollowing out through your belly, rounding out through your back, and begin to dynamically flow between the two. You can use maybe a 1-to-1 inhalation to exhalation ratio as you're playing in your cat-cow. So if you're inhaling for 3, exhale for 3. If you're inhaling for 4, exhale for 4, and so on. Once you've found your rhythm, see what it feels like if you gently take one hand, let's take the left hand and point it in the opposite direction as you keep flowing through your cat-cow. So inverting the one hand, fingertips looking towards your knee line. Take a few flows here, and then maybe think about changing hands. Pointing your left fingertips forward and your right hand fingertips back. Move with your breath, exhaling for the cat, inhaling for the cow. Then maybe give yourself a few with both fingertips facing forward. And then maybe a few with both fingertips facing back. Stretching into those areas of tightness along the forearms and into the wrist line. Come to stillness in that long tabletop line. Both fingertips or both sets of fingertips are looking towards your knees. Your legs are soft and relaxed in parallel. You're going to gently start creeping your hands back towards your knee line as you start dropping your bum towards your heels. Sit back lightly on your heels and hold those arms stretched out in front of you, fingertips looking towards your knees, giving your wrist line a chance to really stretch and get into those areas of tightness. From here, we're going to find our way into a wide child. You can start gently rocking the body weight side to side, big toes together, knees further apart, and then unwind your hands, drop them, forearm down, so bend at the elbows and stack one forearm on top of the other, resting your forehead on the back of your hands. And maybe just taking an opportunity here to rock your head side to side, using the knobbly bits of the back of your hand to gently massage the tension out of your forehead. Think of working through your third eye, rocking gently temple to temple. Make sure those knees are nice and wide, lots of space for your trunk and your torso. Then come to stillness somewhere between the two. Think of gently beginning to peel back up into 4-point kneeling. We're coming into a deep squat. You're going to step out one leg at a time, splaying your feet out nice and wide, dropping your bum down towards the floor, using either hands on the floor and bracing with your tricep against your inner knees to push open. Or you could perhaps come to a cactus frame, bending at the elbows and actively using your elbow points and your triceps. Or maybe prayer position, hands in front, is more your jam today. If coming low to the floor is not an option for you right now, maybe come into a midway squat, bracing the hands on the top of your thighs, and just hang here for a bit, trying to make your tailbone nice and heavy to the mat. Pick your poison and take a few deep breaths. Then maybe drop the right hand to the inside of the right foot, using the whole arm to brace against the inside of your leg as you gently take a twist to one side. Peel back to center. Take a breath or two here. We're going to try that twist to the other side, taking your left palm, placing it on the inside of the left foot, using the whole arm to brace against the inside of your leg as you take a nice gentle twist to the right. Try to keep the bum bones nice and heavy to the floor. Ease your way back to center. Then bring the forearms in, holding onto your forearms, square up through your feet. So your feet are right on the outer quadrant of your mat, and just take an opportunity to fold forward. If you're really tight, gently sway back and forth, putting all the weight in your heels first, and then rocking all that weight forward into the forefront of your foot. Look for those tension spots along the back chain of your legs as you play with that slight rocking motion. Keep your crown nice and heavy to the floor. Keep your elbow points nice and heavy to the floor. Then maybe come to stillness somewhere between the two, with the weight bearing equal on the front and the back of your feet, and just hang here. Try to release all that tension in the head and the neck. If you need to, you can gently think of tracing an almost nodding pattern with your head side to side, just releasing any tension in the neck. Allow for that delicious inversion of the blood into your head. We're going to find our way from here to 4-point kneeling, and we'll thread the needle. Soften through the knees, place your hands onto the mat, and come back into your original 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Take a big breath in and float the right arm up to the sky, thinking T-frame through the arms. On an active exhale, thread your right arm underneath your left armpit, dropping down onto the side of your head and trying to keep your hips stacked softly over your knees as you pause here. Try to pull your belly button gently into center so that it feels like you're holding all the body weight in your core and not leaning everything into your head and your shoulders. Ease your way back into 4-point kneeling. Take a big breath in to prepare. Float the left arm up to the sky. Reach tall through those left fingertips. When you're ready, on the exhale, you're going to thread underneath the right armpit, coming to rest on the side of your head, trying to keep your hips softly stacked over your knees with your belly button gently pulled into center. Activate that core. Take a few quiet moments here, resting the weight on your left temple. Ease your way from here back into 4-point kneeling, and then drop down onto your elbow points. We're coming into Sphinx. You're going to slide the legs back one at a time, resting on your belly with your elbow points stacking underneath your armpits, not collapsing into the mat and sinking into your collarbones, but rather pushing out through your forearms, trying to grow your neck away from your collar line, and maybe just looking gently off the front of your mat as you hold your Sphinx frame. Think of trying to stretch from your lower back all the way to the nape of your neck. Give me the longest neckline that you can forge. Giving a delicious stretch into the lower belly at the same time. You're going to gently creep your hands forward till your belly is resting on the floor. Find a little Superman stretch here by hovering your chest, your head, and your legs and your arms just off the mat. Reach long through the tips of your toes and your fingertips, and your head is almost framed softly between the two arms. Then open yourself up into a T-frame, still hovering off the mat. Bring your whole body down to the mat, keeping that soft T-frame through the arms. Palms are looking down into the mat. Take a big breath in Bend your left elbow, place your palm alongside your chest. Push off your left hand and roll onto your right shoulder, maybe peeling your head off the mat, softly knife edging your feet and looking gently up to the ceiling. Inhale to softly bleed back to the mat, come back into your T-frame. Let's do that on the right. Bend the right hand, bend the right elbow, place the right hand alongside your shoulder line, your chest line. Push off your right hand, roll onto your left shoulder, softly knife edging the feet as you peel your head off the mat to gently peek up to the sky. Float your way softly back to the mat, and as soon as you've found that gentle T-frame on the mat, you're going to come into a locust lie. You're going to sweep the arms alongside the body, palms looking up. You're going to give me a simultaneous chest and leg lift, and you're going to make a soft bow-like frame on the mat with the arms softly at your side. Just take a couple of moments here looking for length through the toes, the fingertips, and the crown of your head. Then relax your legs to the mat. Bend your elbows, slide your hands in front of you and come back into your original Sphinx line, looking for that length through the spine. Stretch into the lower belly, keep your gaze softly off the front of your mat. Give yourself a couple of quiet moments here. Then slide or creep your hands forward as you ease your way into the Superman, hover just off the floor. Resting maybe gently on your lower belly and your hip bones, and just hovering your chest, your arms, your legs off the mat. Then holding that Superman frame, bring the arms into T and float your whole body down to the mat, taking a recovery breath or two. Bend the left elbow, place the palm alongside your bosom. Push off the left hand, rolling onto your right shoulder, peeling your head off the mat. Knife edge your feet. If this feels good, step the left leg to gently maybe tap to the floor behind your extended leg. Just pause here. Pushing off that bottom shoulder. And gently float back to your start position, taking an opportunity to just find your T-frame first. Let's do that on the other side. Bend the left elbow, place the palm alongside your bosom. Push off the hand, roll onto your grounding shoulder, knife edging your foot, and then maybe taking the right foot and stepping it behind the left, maybe just tapping your toes to the mat, or you could ground the whole foot into the mat, whichever feels the most intuitive for you today. Take a moment here, give the shoulders an opportunity to open up, don't rush the movement. Gently bleed back into your soft T-frame. Sweep the arms alongside your body. Come into a locust frame, lifting your chest, lifting your legs off the mat, finding a soft, almost bow frame through the back. Pause here. Then relax the legs down to the mat and start sliding the elbows underneath you as you find your way back into Sphinx. Palms looking down into the mat. Maybe you'd like to change it up today and try palms up to the sky. See what that feels like. Keep looking for that length in the spine. Maybe floating back into your Superman, either palms up and palms down. Take a moment here to just hover your whole body an inch or two off the mat. Keep that hovering line and float your arms into T. Gently reconnect your body to the mat, keeping that T frame through the arms. Bend your left elbow, place the palm alongside your bosom, push off the left hand, roll onto your right shoulder, knife edging your feet, then maybe taking that left leg, stepping it behind your right, then maybe taking an opportunity to also bend the right leg and push off the soles of both feet, intensifying that stretch into the shoulder line. When you're ready, softly bleed your way back to your T-frame. Take a moment here. And then think of running through that sequence on the other side. Bend the right arm, place the palm alongside your bosom. Push off the hand, roll onto your left shoulder. Bend the top leg first, and then the bottom leg, placing the soles of both feet on the mat, actively pushing off the soles of your feet, and really get an amazing stretch into that bottom shoulder. And softly bleed your way back to that little T-frame on the mat. Find your way into Sphinx Pose from here. Bending your elbows, placing them softly underneath your armpits, pushing off your forearms, trying to grow your whole neckline towards the ceiling. Every time you come to Sphinx, you look for more length through the spine. Keep your gaze softly down, maybe just between the two hands or softly off the front of your mat. You're going to ease your way back into Superman, hovering your whole body off the mat. Keeping the body hovering, open up your arms into T. And then think of bleeding your legs, your chest, your arms down into that T frame. Bend the left elbow, place the palm alongside your bosom. Push off the left hand, roll onto the right shoulder. First knife edge your feet. Then step and bend the top leg, the bottom leg. And then maybe resting on that bottom right shoulder, take your left hand and push the nearest leg away. If this is too much, keep your hands softly grounded on the floor. Then bleed back to your original start position, finding your soft T-frame, giving yourself an opportunity to just pause. Then bend the right arm, place the palm alongside your bosom. Push off the right palm and roll onto your left shoulder. Bending first the top leg and grounding it, and then the bottom leg. Then resting the weight on your left shoulder, take the right hand and push the nearest leg away. Lead your way gently back to your T-frame. Sweep the arms behind you. Find that little locust stretch, lifting your chest, your legs, and your arms off the mat as you hold Navasana. Then dropping down through the legs, and as you come to your Sphinx line one last time, use this as an opportunity to find an elbow plank. Tuck your toes under, brace your core, push off your feet and your palms and your forearms, and hover your whole body line just off the mat. Use this frame to set up a soft pigeon line. Start drawing the right knee in towards your hip. Readjust the leg underneath you so that you either have the knee and the ankle in a straight line or maybe heel tucked in closer to the perineum. Relax your left leg, wiggle around, make sure you're even through the shoulders and the hips. And then maybe start to extend the arms in front of you as if you were taking a bow and try to tap your forehead to the mat, draping your forearms softly on the mat in front of you. Just pause here for a few breaths. Allowing the weight of the mat to just gently activate into your third eye. Keep your left arm softly draped on the mat in front of you. We're going to thread the right arm. Take a big breath in. Thread the right arm underneath the left armpit, almost peeping underneath the left armpit, and just pause here. Keep your belly button gently pulled into center. When you're ready, ease your way back into extension and try the thread to the other side. Threading your left arm underneath your right armpit. See how that changes up the stretch. Pause here for a few soft breath cycles. Ease your way back into your long line. Walk your hands up. So you're coming into a high pigeon line. You're going to rest the weight into your right bum, and you're going to swing that extended leg out in front of you, maybe aiming for the front corner of your mat, and place the sole of your right foot against the inseam of the left leg. Interlace your hands, invert them and push them away from you. Start to trace a little circular release in one direction, almost as if you were stirring a big pot, moving clockwise. Start to make that circle bigger and bigger and try to reach past your extended toes and your bent knee. Just getting a nice little circular trace going, trying to reach longer every time you complete one circular trace. Maybe using this as an opportunity to try to hook around your foot. If you can't reach around the foot, maybe reaching for a block, taking the block and using that to hook around your foot. Or maybe you'd like to just stir and reach past your feet as best you can and push out through the heels of your hands, maybe even thinking about trying to frame your head between your two arms. So find a hold position that works for you. Pause here. Think of making your whole chest nice and heavy to the top of your thighs if you have hooked around that foot. Pause here in your modified Janusirsasana, head to knee. Then peel up from here and try to set up a double pigeon line. Take your right leg, place it on the mat in front of you so that the knee and the ankle are more or less in a straight line. Maybe place your fingertips on the mat behind you. Try to overlay your left leg on top of your right so that you've got ankle over knee, knee over ankle, and just gently lean forward. You're not in Sukhasana. You're trying to stack the two shin bones, one on top of the other, and then just gently push off your fingertips and lean your body weight forward. For most of us, this is quite an uncomfortable stretch. You are going to feel it in the hip flexors. Just try to gently hold the stretch. Give yourself a couple of moments here. Leaning your weight gently forward. Try to relax the kneecaps towards the floor. Then gently tip the weight off your tailbone. Cross your left leg over your right and come into a modified boat line. Maybe fingertips on the mat or floating both hands alongside your shin bones. If this feels good and you're nice and strong through the core today, you can keep that cross-legged line, but extend the legs long and lengthened, making it almost V-like shape with your body as you come to Navasana Boat. Ease your way from here into a soft butterfly line, bringing the soles of your feet together, bringing them in as close to your shin bones as you can, maybe gently holding on to your toes as the knees softly splay out, or placing your hands gently on the mat in front of you as you think of gently curling over your toes. Just give yourself a couple of moments here, whether you have your hands softly draped on the mat. You could even use a block in front of you underneath the hands if you need to, or whether you're holding onto the toes and pulling your elbow points into center and trying to reach your chin over your toes. Do what works for you. We're going to find our way from here into a little rocking motion on the spine if you can. If this feels uncomfortable for you, just gently find your way onto the back. Preferably, we're going to set ourselves up in a seal line from here. Make sure you've got enough runway to play behind you. From your butterfly line, you're going to allow the feet to softly splay further away from you. You're going to bring your feet up off the mat, finding an almost boat-like hold, and you're going to tuck your hands, palms up underneath your legs so that it feels like you can rest the weight of your ankles in the palms of your hands. Then think rolling like a ball. Start to pretend somebody's pushing on your chest bone. Hollow out your belly, round out your back. Rock back as far as your shoulders and then back up to your start position. Trying to find that little balance just off your tailbone with the weight of your legs gently being supported by the hands. Give yourself maybe 5 or 6 gentle rocks here. Make sure that you're rounding out your spine as you rock back. You're going to come to rest on your back. Keep that soft diamond frame through your feet. Drop your feet to the mat. Soles of the feet are still together, knees softly splayed out as you come into a gentle supine butterfly, and just give yourself a couple of moments here. Don't try to imprint your lower back. Keep a comfortable neutral spine. Arms almost in a Shavasana-like position at your side, palms up. Just allow the knees to be nice and heavy to the floor and hang here for a bit. You're going to ease your way from here into a happy baby, taking a foot grasp of your choice. Think of floating the soles of your feet up to the sky, keeping that bent knee position. Maybe grabbing from the outside of your feet or from the inside of your feet and just hanging here. Try to gently tug down on your feet. Relax the knees as the knees soften and come towards your chest. Allow them to softly splay around your chest, aiming for your armpit. Make sure you've relaxed your tailbone into the mat. If you need to, gently rock your body weight side to side. Then drop the sole of the left foot to the floor and start extending the right leg up towards the ceiling. Maybe this means you can hold onto the undercarriage of your foot, or maybe the big toe, or maybe hold the back of your thigh or the back of your ankle, or use a strap or a hand towel to bind around that leg. Just find an A-line stretch that works for you, keeping your left leg grounded, left foot grounded, and maybe just softly T-framing your support hand on the left. Try to make your whole back line nice and heavy into the mat. Make your belly button heavy into the mat. Make both shoulders nice and heavy into the mat. Then take a big breath in. Open up your leg as far as you can to the right while you float your head in the opposite direction. Just hold that stretch. Gently draw back to center. Maybe bringing yourself into a little tabletop lie. Arms are softly splayed out in T. Take a big breath in and drop both knees as far as you can to the left while you look to the right. If this feels uncomfortable for you and you can't reach your knees to the floor, maybe tuck 1 or 2 blocks underneath your thighs on the left to support your frame. Inhale to draw gently back to the center line. Exhale to drop both knees as far as you can to the right while you look to the left. You can use 2 blocks, 1 or 2 blocks underneath those legs if you need to. If you need more stretch, maybe take your right hand, reach for the top of the left leg and tug down, increasing that stretch. Find your way back to table, cross at the ankles. Hold onto your feet if you can, and give me a few spinal rolls here, rounding out through your back, rocking up, almost tucking the feet underneath you every time you come into a seated frame. Give yourself a couple of gentle rocks here. And seated, draw the weight forward onto your knees, slide your legs back and come back to your original 4-point kneeling frame on the mat and start rolling through your cat-cow when you're ready. At first, all 10 fingers looking to the front of the mat. Then change it up and point one set of fingertips in the opposite direction so they're looking towards your knees. Give yourself a couple of cycles here. Then change hands, pointing one hand forward and the opposite hand pointing backwards as you gently play with that cat-cow. And see what it feels like to use both hands facing towards your knees as you play with that cat-cow. Come to stillness in a long tabletop line, pushing off your forearms, looking for that sense of length through the neck and the spine. And start to creep your hands back, fingertips looking towards your knees as you start to gently sit your bum back towards your heels. And holding that stretch into the forearms, fingertips looking towards your knees. Feel the wrists, feel the forearms, maybe rocking your body weight side to side. Start to think big toes together, knees softly splayed out, setting up your wide child, Balasana. And then bring your hands into a stacked line, bending at the elbows, stacking one palm on top of the other, resting your forehead on the back of the top hand, and maybe beginning to rock your head temple to temple, using the knobbly bits of your hand to gently massage your forehead, ironing out all those troubles. Come to stillness. You're going to ease your way into a deep or a midway squat from here. When you're ready, think of gently pushing off your forearms, maybe placing your palms on the mat if you can as you step the legs wide. Maybe keeping both hands on the mat, actively pushing off the mat with your palms and using your forearms to, not your forearms, your triceps to prise your legs further apart. Maybe you'd like to come to a cactus frame here. Then take the whole left hand, place it on the inside of the left foot. Use the whole left arm to push open the inner thigh on the left and softly twist to the right, throwing the right arm open behind you. Ease your way back to your original start position, maybe cactus or pushing off both hands. And then try to take that twist to the other side. Place the right palm on the inside of the right foot. Use the whole arm to splint your leg and take a gentle opening twist to the left. Keep belly to spine as you come to your little Malasana deep squat with a twist. Then gently, maybe think of coming back to your original start position on the mat. Square up through your feet. Hang forward, bending at the elbows, holding onto your forearms, making your elbow points and your crown heavy. Ever so gently rock the weight back and forth. Looking for those troublesome spots along the back chain of your leg and holding it where you need to iron out that feeling of tightness. Come to stillness, holding the weight as even as you can between the front and the back of your feet. Just hanging here in your modified Uttanasana. Allow for that delicious inversion of the blood into your head. We're going to find our way into Sukhirandasana. Thread the needle from here. Soften through the knees as much as you need to place your hands on the mat and step back into your original 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Take a big breath in. Float the right arm up to the sky. On the exhale, thread underneath your left armpit. Keeping your hips stacked softly over your knees. Keeping belly to spine. Give yourself a couple of moments here, just gently resting the weight on the side of your head. When you're ready, bleed your way back into tabletop and try the same on side 2. Take a big breath in, floating the left arm up to the sky. Reach as tall as you can through those fingertips. When you're ready, thread through. Coming to rest on the side of the head, trying to keep your hips stacked softly over your knees. Give yourself a couple of moments here. Lead your way back into 4-point kneeling and think about finding your way into a Sphinx line from here. Make sure you've got enough room to extend the legs behind you. Drop down onto the forearms. Slide back your legs one at a time, readjusting if you need to come into your Sphinx line, pushing off your forearms, looking for that sense of length through the spine. Try to grow from your lower back towards the nape of your neck. Ease your way from here onto the belly, sliding the arms out in front of you. And then find your soft little Superman float, thinking of hovering your chest, your arms, and your legs just off the mat. Looking for length, not height. Trying to extend through your toes and your fingertips. Holding that hover, float the arms into T, and then bring your whole frame down to the mat, taking a recovery breath or two. Let's open those shoulders. Bend the left elbow, place the palm alongside your bosom. Push off the left hand, roll onto your right shoulder, knife edging the feet, bringing your head off the mat and looking up gently towards the sky. Pause. Roll back onto your belly, find your T-frame. Bend the right arm, place the palm alongside your bosom. Push off the right hand, roll onto your left shoulder, knife edging your feet, peeling your head off the mat and looking up towards the sky. Ease your way back into T, and then sweep into a locust hold, arms alongside your body, palms up, making a bow-like frame. So this time you're thinking more height as you find that bow frame, almost resting on your hip bones and maybe your lower belly. Lead your legs back down to the mat. Start popping the arms out in front of you and find your way back into your Sphinx, pushing off your elbows and your forearms, palms looking down into the mat, nice and wide, looking for that length through the spine. Feel that delicious stretch into the lower belly. From here, bleed into your Superman, trying to extend the arms softly in front of you, thinking small little lift off the mat. So just hovering your nose, your chest, your arms and your legs an inch or two off the mat and extending or stretching as much as you can through the spine. Hold that hovering position, bring your arms into T, and then bleed everything down, making a soft T frame on the mat. Bend your left elbow, place the palm alongside your bosom, push off the left palm, roll onto your right shoulder, knife edging your feet, and maybe taking the top leg, stepping it behind the bottom leg and holding the stretch. Either planting the whole foot into the mat behind you or just tips of the toes connected, whichever feels good for you. Come back into T. Take a recovery breath or two before you repeat on the other side. Bending the right elbow, placing the palm alongside your bosom, roll onto the left shoulder, knife edging your feet, lifting your head off the mat, stepping the top leg behind the bottom leg, grounding it, or just staying on the tips of your toes, holding the stretch. Lead your way softly back to T, and then sweep into a locust hold, making more of a bow frame through your body. So legs and chest lifting up a little bit higher, reaching through your toes, your fingertips, and your crown. Relax the legs to the mat. Slide the arms out in front, coming back into your Sphinx line. So pushing off those elbow points and the forearms, trying to grow through your neckline. Keep your neckline in neutral, so try not to throw the head back. That puts a lot of tension on the back of the neck. Just keep your gaze softly down on the mat in front of you. Slide back into your Superman line, just gently extending the arms in front of you. Take a moment here to hover your whole body just an inch or two off the mat, thinking length through the spine. Sweep the arms into T and bleed everything down. Take a recovery breath or two. Bend the left elbow, place the palm alongside your bosom. Push off the left palm, roll into your right shoulder, knife edge your feet. Bend the top leg, ground it, and then bend the bottom leg and ground that too. Pause. Lift your head off the mat, maybe looking up to the sky. Then gently bleed your way back to your original T position on the mat and give yourself a breath or two. Bend the right elbow, place the palm alongside your bosom, roll onto your left shoulder. Step up first one leg and then the other, grounding through both feet and pausing. Gently bleed your way back to T and give yourself a recovery breath or two before sweeping into a locust line and holding. Think more bow frame, lifting your chest and your legs off the mat. Relax the legs. Bring the arms out in front of you, pushing back into your original Sphinx line. One last time, holding that frame. Look for length through the spine. Softly bleed into a Superman stretch, sliding the arms in front, hovering your body just an inch or two off the mat. Nose is literally hovering just off the mat. Keep that hovering position, open up your arms into T, and then float everything down and give yourself a recovery breath or two. Bend your left elbow, place the palm alongside your bosom. Push off the left hand, roll into the right shoulder, knife edging your feet. Bend and ground one leg and then the other. Stay here, resting the weight into your bottom shoulder, or take the other hand and push the nearest leg away. Then bleed your way softly back to your original T-frame on the mat, giving yourself a recovery breath or two. Bend the right arm, place the palm alongside your bosom. Push off the right hand, rolling onto your left shoulder, grounding through both legs if you can. Leaning all the weight into your bottom shoulder, reach with the top hand and just push the nearest leg away. Lead your way softly back to your original T-frame and then sweep into locust, reaching the arms behind you. Palms are looking up to the ceiling, forging more of a bow frame through your back. Try to think of reaching through your fingertips, your toes, and your crown. Then relax your legs to the mat. Set up your locust line and use the locust line to ease your way into an elbow plank. So tuck your toes under, brace your core. Bring your whole body line nice and parallel to the mat. Use this line to set up a pigeon on the left. Start tucking the left leg in. Find the pigeon line that works for you, either staying on the forearms or coming into extension, trying to drop your forehead to the mat, and using this as an opportunity to thread from here. Take a big breath in and thread the left arm underneath the right armpit, coming to rest on the side of your head, and just pause here for a few moments. Then see what it feels like to take the thread in the opposite direction, threading the right arm underneath the left armpit. It's going to change up the way that you feel the stretch. Maybe peeking underneath the armpit as if you were trying to look towards the ceiling. Ease your way gently into your extended pigeon, and then maybe walk the way back onto your forearms and then onto your palms. Lean all of the weight into your left bum. Swing the right leg out in front of you, aiming for the front corner of your mat, and place the sole of the left foot on the inseam of the right leg. Sit up nice and tall, interlace your hands, invert them, and just start to trace a little stirring motion in one direction. Start to make your circle bigger as if you wanted to reach past your bent knee and your extended leg. Giving your lower back an opportunity to just warm up. And then using that circular trace to see if you can maybe hook around your feet and hold. You could modify with a strap, with your belt, maybe with your block, or just maybe reach the arms long and lengthen in front and try to frame your ears on either side. So do what feels good for you. From here, you're going to find your way into a double pigeon line, trying to overlay one leg on top of the other, maybe leaning into the pigeon, maybe making your forearms nice and heavy into the mat. Give yourself a couple of gentle breaths here. And bleed your way from here into a boat line, crossing one leg over the other. Maybe staying here in your tabletop position. You could brace both hands behind your thighs or have fingertips on the floor if you need to. Or you can come into the full expression, extending both legs and making more of a V frame to your body. Find your way into a soft butterfly line from here, bringing the soles of your feet together and maybe just draping yourself over your legs, maybe softening your palms and your forearms to the mat, or maybe you'd like to hold on to the toes. Pause here for a few moments. In your little butterfly, Baddha Konasana, we're going to find our way from here into seal to get onto the back. Make sure you've got enough runway behind you, so if you need to readjust and slide slightly forward. Find that boat-like float, trying to bring your hands underneath your legs so you're supporting the weight of your ankles in your palms. And round out through your back. Rock as far as your shoulder blades and back up again. Coming into an almost boat-like balance, supporting the weight of your legs with your hands and your arms. You're going to end on the back and you're going to bleed your way into a supine butterfly. Just dropping the arms at your side, palms up in a Shavasana-like position. Knees are still bent, soles of the feet are together. Just give yourself a couple of moments here in Supta Baddha Konasana, supine butterfly. Back line is comfortably neutral, don't try to imprint it. Then bleed your way from here into a happy baby bind of your choice. Thinking of floating the soles of the feet up to the sky, reaching from the inside or from the outside, tugging down on your feet, relaxing your knees towards your armpit, really making sure that your tailbone and your sacrum is nice and relaxed. Maybe you need to rock side to side to release. Give me a soft, relaxed breathing pattern. Then find an A-line stretch on the left from here, dropping the sole of your right foot to the floor, maybe keeping the bind underneath the foot on the left, or using a big toe lock or a strap or a hand towel. Give yourself an opportunity to just make your whole back line nice and heavy into the mat. Then take a big breath in and splay your foot as far as you can out left while you look to the right. Take a big breath in and come back to center, drawing both legs into table and T-framing your arms. Take a big breath in and drop both legs as far as you can to the right while you look to the left. Maybe even reaching for the top knee and gently tugging down if you need to increase the stretch. Inhale to float back to center. Exhale to drop all the way to the opposite side. Your knees traveling in one direction, your head traveling in the other. Just give yourself a little supine stretch, twist here. Inhale, come back to center. Maybe just placing your hands, palms down on your knees and tracing 3 little releases in one direction and then 3 in the other. Just relax your lower back. You're going to find your way into Shavasana from here to end your practice for today. Drop the arms at your side, palms up, hands softly splayed out. Tap your big toes to the mat, begin extending your legs, and as they come into full extension, rotate the inner thighs out. Point your big toes to the corner of the mat and situate yourself in a comfortable reclined position. Close your eyes, take your focus inward. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, flop your head off center to the left. Pause here and tell yourself to release all the tension on your neck and collar line on the right. Inhale to bring your chin back to neutral. Exhale to drop your head to the right. Tell yourself to release the tension along your neck and collar line on the left. Inhale to bring your chin back to neutral. Lift both shoulder blades off the mat. and relax them heavy into the mat. Make a little fist with your hands and then open up and close your hands a few times. Ending with the hands open but the fingers softly curled in. Then focus on your hips. Drop one hip lower than the other and then think of gently rolling your body weight hip to hip. Lifting one hip up off the mat, dropping the other hip heavy into the mat as you gently rock the weight through your pelvis. Come to stillness somewhere between the two. Focus on your feet. Trace a little circular release through the ankles. Maybe a few traces in one direction and then a few in the other. Then stop with the feet softly flopped out. Keep your eyes closed and your focus in. And start to soften from your crown. Allow that softness to extend through the head, through the neckline, to bleed down the collar line, through the meridian of the arms, all the way to the tips of your fingers so that they feel tingly and soft. Then soften from your collar line, through the chest, the belly, the pelvis. From your neckline through the shoulders, the back, all the way to your bum. Soften your legs all the way from the top of your leg line, through the knees, towards the lower limbs. Relax your ankles, your feet, your toes. Feel totally soft and relaxed. Make your breathing pattern long, soft, and relaxed. And stay here, totally blissed out, for as long as you need to. Make sure your body is soft, relaxed, and released. When you're ready to end your practice for today, just end off by softly nodding your chin to your chest on the words, Namaste. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today. I do hope that you enjoyed today's class. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Remember to shoot me your comments below. Make sure your notifications for this channel are turned on and be ready for playtime on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.